Strap yourselves in, boys. It's time for an overhaul. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Welcome back to the M18 Black Cat. One of my favorite custom camouflages on display here, and of course it is neon historical. We are pushing forward on, what's this called? Sands of Sinai, something like that. The low profile and high mobility of the M18 is going to serve us well here. This is a battle match, and I gotta be honest with you guys. I've been talking about positivity with this event and how to deal with negativity because it's always a cycle that I struggle my way through. For those of you that were talking with me on the Discord today, you heard me going through that cycle. And I was not making good progress for a while before this match. And I need to capture zones, and I'm in a battle scenario. So this is not gonna be the progress I was hoping for, but it's gonna be other kinds of progress. Our first shot of the match looks like a bit shy of our target. Is that a panther? Difficult to see with the optics we have on the kitty here. Another shot bounces, and it's time for us to make like a tree and GTFO the neighborhood. So, positivity. You know, I came into this one and I thought maybe I should just jump out and return to hangar, switch nations to avoid the crew lock, and get into a different match where I can actually capture a zone. That was my first thought with this battle. And I thought, you know what? It's kind of a quitter's way of looking at things. It's kind of a negative Nancy way of looking at things. And I decided to change my attitude. I decided to embrace my circumstances instead of keeping my eyes on my own personal goal. That's a game changer. So, our second shot into the Panther takes him down. Beautiful turret shot. We're gonna call that lucky. But I guess my teammates called it excellent. That almost clears up this flank. I saw an enemy fire. Now I see his profile. Looks like a tank destroyer. These German light skin tank destroyers. Very punchy, but not if you punch them first. And just like a schoolyard bully, he goes down after the first good solid hit to the face. Anyway, 2 enemy tanks down. This flank appears to be secure, which sets us up for a really good position. Because the capture zones are in the center of the map, the main enemy forces, watching that turret fly there for the third person on this flank, are focused on the central portions of the map. And generally, people are less comfortable with these long range engagements that you get out of the dunes here. So, all of that is to say, this flank is now secure. Loving the mobility of the M18 on this sand. And there's just something about the way this vehicle moves. I really like its agility, its mobility, its responsiveness, the power of its gun. It almost seems like the video is sped up with how quickly this thing traverses. But it's just a very mobile vehicle. By no means anything new to the game at this point. I remember when this thing came out, how hard it was to kill. There was no hull break mechanic, and the game could barely keep up with how fast this thing moved. Different times. I think the game has actually improved quite a bit since those days, and I know it's not perfect, but I'm having a blast. And as soon as I decided to embrace this match, I started to have fun, because right away, this would develop into a rather interesting situation for us. And I didn't know this at the time, but as you can probably tell from the length of this video, we're in for a marathon of a match. Tiger at range. Well, not long enough range that we really have to aim too carefully. And we drop one right into his side ammo rack. A gorgeous third kill in the M18 and a fourth target sighted. Tiger facing completely away from us. Good side armor shot here, and we aim just a tad too high to hit the side armor. Kind of surprised that didn't penetrate his turret cheek there, but we'll take what we can get. Still aiming too high, but we get some of his turret crew. Another shot, risky, exposing ourselves, careful now, for this long, and it seems like we just can't depress the gun enough to get the shots on the Tiger that we need. So we pull out of there. Looked like a T-34-85 firing back at us. He has a quick enough reload that we need to get out of there. Lucky that that first shot missed. If he'd hit us, chances are we would have exploded real bad. The fuse on the APHE round for the T-34-85 is quite sensitive, which makes it effective against the M18. Is that another Tiger? Let's take our shot. Hard to see where he is in between the sandstorm and... I'm not so sure that one shouldn't have punched through. I kind of feel like it should have gone. It sort of treated it like it went underneath the tank, passing through the road wheels, but I don't know about that one. Aim a little lower. One into the engine deck. That one successful, and he's got nowhere to go. He's got a date with Mein Flammenwerfer. Do you like Mein Flammenwerfer, Hans? It werfs Flammen. And we're just going for a third fire here if we can. He's not putting this one out. Is he waiting to get the shot on us? I can tell his turret's whirring around there as fast as you do in a Tiger. We try to raise the elevation and put one into the turret before he gets fully around, but we're just going to go for it. I'm not sure he can get us, and we're barely sticking our muzzle up above this dune here. Another hit into the fuel tank. No fire. One still raging. So that will be how he goes. Maybe he already used an extinguisher, but we end up extinguishing him. Thank you very much for our 4th kill in the M18 in quick succession in this battle. Now this was, as I mentioned, such a marathon match that I ended up not having time to record the entire match. But we got the first 4 kills. You can see where I went to, so no worries. And that spot, by the way, if you're in a mobile vehicle, is a great spot for this map because people don't expect you to be there. You're behind hard cover that still gives you the ability to scout around and peek over things with... Oh, that's the T-34-85! We change our trajectory just in time to avoid his shot, but the IS-2 aims a bit more carefully and takes us down. However, 4 kills, and I go for the Mustang, and then I reconsider. I see that there are 3 or 4 allied aircraft in the skies, so I figure now is my time. If my team has air superiority, maybe I can harvest a few kills while the getting's good. I haven't been using my Grizzly very often lately just because it's so convenient in the Mustang to have that speed, that snappiness and responsiveness of the aircraft at highest speed, and the ability to engage in dogfights with other fighters. It really is a great aircraft for Tank RB, and a solid aircraft overall. It truly fits the meta of War Thunder, and it rewards skilled and considerate gameplay. So I've been enjoying the heck out of the Mustang that Friedzel bought me. I talked with Friedzel a little bit, just a few lines over the Discord recently, and I hope he's doing well. I never get enough time to connect with you guys. One quick shot into the enemy, very friendly wagon there as we drop all of our bombs and take him down with style. That's not flying, that's falling with style. Well, take it or leave it. We hear somebody on our tail, and I think this time, yes it is, an allied fighter, so we're not worried too badly. We set up our next attack run, this time flying Cannon Cass, and the 75 on the Grizzly is an extremely enjoyable cannon to use. Now, it doesn't have the fire rate that other large cannons have, so you really need to pick your shots, and it doesn't have perfect accuracy either, so sometimes you're just gonna miss. Add to that the fact that the Grizzly does not have the smoothest handling. It wobbles around a bit, not enough to be a problem, unless you are, again, trying to line up those touchy shots with the 75. Now, can Senpai get some feels here? Yes, he can! IS-2 down. Is that IS-1? I can't quite read from here. Did we get revenge? Anyway, Soviet Heavy eliminated with a beautifully placed shot from the 75, and you are now witnessing why the Grizzly is one of my favorite aircraft in the game. I love my attackers, and unlike the Narwhal, the Grizzly does not have enough speed to outrun enemy fighters. It does not have enough fire rate to spam shots at the enemy. You really have to have solid tactics, and ooh, that was very nice, going through the frontal plate of, looks like a Panther F. That is a fairly rare version of the Panther, I suppose because it sits at a higher battle rating than other Panthers, but this fella taking his F for a spin into the capture zone, and I am the only person who is able to take this guy down right now. I take my shot early, maybe a second shot. That one hit nicely into the turret, but only takes down one crew member, and I think also the rangefinder. So hooray for our side, but every shot helps, and you can tell the amount of difficulty we have getting guns on target. And I have a lot of experience with the Grizzly, so when you see me pull these rollover maneuvers and get the gun on target, you might not quite get a sense for just how sluggish the aileron, roll, and rudder is on the Grizzly. The elevator is not bad, but this is not by any means a nimble aircraft, and these huge wings, just really with the heavy engines on them, they take a long time to roll over, and you feel it. However, in the terms of energy production, the Grizzly's not bad, and in terms of the performance of the weapons, as I mentioned, it's pretty good. You can sometimes one-shot vehicles, often from a top down, and especially against Soviet vehicles with their cramped fighting compartments, that's a lot more possible, as you see there. Beautiful shot into the T-34-85. It wasn't a good setup, but we just went for it because we smelled our death a-comin' in the form of that enemy fighter that's now upon us once again, if I'm not mistaken. We might have time for one more gun run here. Can we make it count? Closing to extreme close range, and I honestly, I didn't see how that one missed. That was a beautifully set up shot, but sometimes you just can't win them all, and that would be one of those times. BF 109 G2 Trop. I wouldn't call this a tropical environment, excuse me, but that extra long boy air filter on the engine probably helps keep the sand out too. Now, our air crew of the Grizzly, dusting the sand off of their clothes, climbing out of the wreck of their aircraft, nobody dies in War Thunder, and hopping into a Sherman Jumbo to try and hold back the enemy, and we're gonna try to do a bit of stalling. Stalin, as we know, one of the main reasons that America won World War II. See what I did there? Anyway, when did the Soviets get a Sherman Jumbo? I feel like that's due to happen at some point. Everybody else has a Jumbo. Anyway, the A zone hotly contested at this point. I think finally clear of enemy vehicles. I see a couple of tanks, and we're gonna nose over that rise, get ourselves comfortably hulled down, and use this Jumbo for a bit of stalling tactics. Now, at range, we're not likely to take down these T-34-85s that I see closing in here. But if we can get them to stop and duke it out with us, then that gives the rest of our teammates some time to back us up and to even flank these guys. And in the jumbo, now that these guys have noticed me, it's really not good for me to try to push up and flank. And again, if I pull back and try and flank around, that might give them the chance to get into the capture zone. So I am just Paul Blart mall copping these guys as I scoot in on my Segway and keep them from doing the crimes. And bouncy, bouncy, bounce. We're going to be bouncing a lot of our shots here. Our aim, fairly good. And we are dealing some damage to these T-34-85s. In fact, one taken down. APCR on this thing, not terrible. Not the best round, but not useless. And you can make the enemy feel like their weapons are useless at this range, especially when you're hull down. Going for our second T-34-85, and we did notice that other guy who was... Did my round kind of disappear there? I'm not sure what's happening with this. It's kind of difficult with these optics and firing APCR to tell exactly what's going on. So a third target shows up. A nice hit. If we had a long 75, that would have gone through. But that's, well, it might have gone through. But that's certainly not the case today, now is it? Our only real chance is to get the turret ring, or maybe the turret cheeks, but that was pretty much a perfect shot into roughly 100 millimeters of armor, flat on, and it didn't punch through. So I don't think we're going to be able to perforate these guys from this range. Even so, we're distracting one of them. That second guy, I'm sure, is coming around to flank me and get tasty shots in my side armor. And you know, I've decided that I'm just not going to do anything about that. Now I'm trying the APHE round to see if maybe I can get a little bit better performance, but it's just too much range to even dial in exactly where it's hitting. I'm not sure if I'm going in front of this guy or behind him. It looks like I'm still in front of him, but I range up and I'm clearly hitting behind him, so I think we're just sort of maxing out the accuracy of our gun here, and the post-impact effect is not impressive anyway. So maybe what I should have done is smoked these guys up and repositioned myself. Maybe what I should have done is pushed over that ridge and gotten a bit more aggressive to try and take him down. That's not what I did now, is it? And we are going to end up getting taken down by his buddy who was flanking us the whole time. If we'd been a little bit faster, maybe we would have gotten some shots on that BF-109, and there we go, getting taken down by a flanking shot. But we harvested a lot of spawn points, so we can pick our pick of the litter when it comes to respawning here. Want to jump back into the Grizzly? Not so much right now. The sky is not so friendly. Happy now that I have the Mustang. Beside the fact that this is, again, one of the most gorgeous planes in War Thunder. That beautiful bubble cockpit, the smooth, clean lines of the airplane, the exotic look of the wing with their little cut-ins there, the 650 cals mounted in the wings that can deal so much damage, and let's hope for that now as we see two enemy aircraft in the sky, one of them shot down by an AA, so that is certainly welcome. Now we're dropping down, opening up, and we couldn't quite get our lead there. I wasn't sure if he was coming or going, and now we pull into the vertical and we're really feeling the weight of those 2,000-pound bombs. So that is just a thing, and ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I think we can get shots at this range, and indeed we get some nice hits. The enemy continuing in the vertical looks like a yak, and he has been DACA'd good. The flamethrower effect of the tracer rounds on the P-51, both beautiful, hey there daddy's girl, and effective at setting fires. Now, enemies on the capture zone. Enemies, can we spot them? I see somebody. Uncle Sam says, "Hi, you filthy animal." 2-second delay, and boom goes the dynamite. That enemy setting himself up looked like an Ostwind, if I'm not mistaken. Glad I took him down with the bombs. They're actually fairly hard to kill with 50 cals because the castle turret on top of that thing is too thick to shoot through, so you have to put one through the roof hole, as it were, the open roof. And now you're going to see a bit of jumping around as we saved the video at this time. So that's the deal with Shadowplay. It only records up to 20 minutes in the background, and then when I save the file, things get a bit jumpy. So we have a moment to catch our breath. And this whole time I'm thinking strategy. And you might have noticed that my strategy ever since jumping out of the Hellcat, out of the burning dead Hellcat, is that I've been playing defensively here. If we can protect our zone, we've got all the time in the world to counterattack the enemy. And it looks like my teammates, for the most part, have been playing the same game. The enemy team being very aggressive, pushing into our cap zone as they see that progress, getting almost toward being captured. And that has given us the advantage, because any team that plays defensively has a serious advantage in War Thunder, if you have the option to do so. So it's kind of an interesting give and take, and it's one of the things that turned this marathon of a match into the moving experience that it was for me today. I hope some of that has come across to you guys. I hope I haven't been boring you, but this was just one of those matches. I know I've been making a lot of very lengthy videos lately, and that really is my style. I like to have enough time to talk about things and not just put a whole bunch of cuts to the action, because I think the little things in between and sharing the everyday moments of life, I think that's really what I'm interested in. There's a lot of people that'll show an entertaining video. I just want to talk for a while. Is that so wrong? The relief driver in that, what is that? You know what I'm talking about. Ooh. Panzerkampfwagen, whatever. He ate a 50 cal or two, but the sheer volume of firepower completely overwhelms him as we set up our next vertical attack on the remaining enemy tank. Looks like a T-34. I hear an aircraft. Look around. It is an ally, so I feel free to continue my attack run. P-51 at this airspeed is not the most maneuverable aircraft. This is not a situation where I want to find myself dogfighting an enemy fighter, but I will if I have to. Anyway, the Mustang, just absolutely gorgeous. I've flown the P-47 quite a bit, and I would hear these guys just fanboying about the Mustang, and I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty, it's a little more nimble, but the P-47 has so much firepower. And I gotta say, I really do appreciate the firepower and the straight line speed of the P-47, but the Mustang, man, it's just a gorgeous, sexy aircraft with a total crap rudder. And here, something making a cloud, a trail of ESS like a greasy snail. And excuse me, sorry Gaijin, I didn't know you were listening. And what could it be other than a PT-76? At this battle rating, I can't think of anything else that has ESS, and that makes it a nice, tasty target for my 50 cals as the match comes to a close. An aircraft kill, 11 ground kills, and great participation in the battle. I'm not going to say that I carried that match. My team definitely came through where they were needed. It was just one of those incredible matches. And GG, 0-7 to the enemy team. They did quite well. They really put the pressure on us, and I had a great time. Good time to get the air medal, huh? Catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.